So, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development Tactics podcast, and we are once again going to go through Predictably Irrational, which is a pretty cool book about these things that we always do and which are just really dumb and fucked up and don't make any fucking sense, just actually. And this is what we're going to go through today, and this is what we're going to talk about today. And it is going to be a cool episode because it gives me, I think, quite a lot of time to talk about things because we've already nearly finished. But yeah, anyway, we're going to go through it after the intro, as always, as we are always doing that. I know because we do that here on the podcast. This is what we do. Yeah. Anyway, let's actually head right into it. Can I? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Let's see. Let's do it like this and like that. And now you should not be able to see that. Okay, well, but now. Could you please? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll make it a little tiny bit smaller so that it is fine. Yeah, this is how I want it. So the next thing is going to be context of our character. And before I'm doing that, I kind of noticed that first of all, my PC is really loud today. And second of all, a little bit of soundproofing would kind of be hella lit, you know? And as I'm walking through my room, you probably can hear that that it is just really not soundproof here. So I hope that this is doing the trick, but I'm not quite sure about that. I kind of think not. Let's actually take you, motherfucker, and let's have you also like somewhere there. So now it is a little bit fine, I guess. So context of our character. I'm really looking forward to the last section here because the other things, they have already been pretty great. So, the students who could only remember one or two of the 10 commandments were just as affected by them as the students who remembered all 10. It wasn't the commandments themselves that encouraged honesty, but the mere contemplation of a moral benchmark of some kind. And I'm having something in between my teeth, which is pissing me off a bit. Just a tiny little bit. Now it is working. Interesting though. Really heavily interesting though. People cheat when they have a chance to do so, but don't cheat as much as they could. Once they begin thinking about honesty, which seems to be kind of presented by the 10 commandments they talk about. So I don't know what the 10 commandments are, by the way. I think it is just an experiment stuff, so I don't know. I really don't. They stop cheating completely. When we are removed from any benchmarks of ethical thought, we tend to stay into dishonesty. So once again, when we are removed from any benchmarks of ethical thought, we tend to stray into dishonesty. If we are reminded of morality at the moment we are tempted, then we are much more likely to be honest. I think just being honest, and I'm at this point in time also updating the Nintendo of my little sister. Sorry for that. But I think it just totally makes sense. Like, of course are we gonna cheat? You know, we just cheat. This is what we do. This is, I think, kind of maybe even something. By the way, I don't really know if we have always been cheating. I know if this is always something that we have been doing. I kind of assume that, yeah, it is the case. But on the other hand, like, I don't know. I clearly don't know. But you know, especially because what kind of cheating was there, like, I don't know how many years ago. Like that, probably there just has been no cheating. Like, I don't know if you fucked another woman or fucked another guy, then nobody cared, I guess. You know, just I'm thinking about really the early days of the human species. You know, I'm not just talking about like 100 years ago or some shit. Because of course, things have changed and stuff. So it might have been not that of a severe thing or not that of a problematic thing, if you will. You know, but of course, there's just, I think, a lot of couples that also are just fine with that, isn't it the case? You know, there is just relatively open relationships and stuff. So yeah, cheating is often one step removed from cash. Accounting practices, backdated stock options, lobbyists sending politicians on vacations. It's often one step removed from cash. I see. Taking a red pencil from work is easy. Taking 10 cents from the petty cash drawer in order to buy a pencil is not so easy. Yes, indeed. Really indeed. And not just quote-unquote stealing, or as they say, taking, you know, which is kind of essentially the same thing. A pencil is an act that I don't know, that we all would do. Because it doesn't feel that wrong, because we know it is just a pencil. But if it is like a cash drawer, if it is just if the context is a different one, then we're gonna think about it, and then we're gonna just actually also think and believe, I guess, that it is much more of a severe thing and much more of a illegal thing to do. And I gotta actually have to admit that I have once stolen unconsciously. I didn't notice it, and also the cashier, she didn't notice, which is a pretty funny thing because I don't know what it is called, unfortunately, but it is for maths to draw the lines and stuff, this triangular thing, this ruler, this triangular ruler, whatever it might be called in English. But I've taken one of them, one of those flexible ones, because I tended to break all of them. So I thought, well, let's just take a flexible one, because I think it wasn't that much of a pricey thing. And I mean, the quality is really shit. Like, they are really shit. I mean, they are so thin that you can just draw a line with it. It's just enough for drawing a line. But I just don't care about some fancy shit, basically, because especially if it is about something that can just break. No, I don't give a shit about it. Unless it is my smartphone, then maybe I'm gonna just use more money, or just have more money in my hands to buy a new one and stuff. Like, yeah. Anyway, the thing is, I've taken one of them, and because they're so fucking thin, I've unfortunately just taken two of them. And I didn't notice, and also the cashier didn't notice, because as I was at home, I just looked at it, and then I pulled it apart, those two things, and then I've seen, well, it is actually two of them. And this is my story of stealing. And then I thought, like, well, I've just stolen something. Like, I haven't done this, also not as a child, as far as I remember. Like, I, by the way, just really, I don't know if I've done that just before as well, but I would really like to say that I'm just doing the right things. Not necessarily always, and it always just depends on what the right thing is. Most often the right thing is not the easy one, so there's either the easy one or there's the right one. And sometimes it's pretty difficult to say. Sometimes I'm definitely also not doing that. I really gotta have to admit that, and I've done that, especially I think in the past few weeks, I'd say, which is fucked up, because then I always just get reminded of my karma, and I just shouldn't do dumb stuff. I shouldn't do that. Even though, like, I think you can make it worse for yourself, to just being like, well, okay, this is just so immoral, and this is so bad what I'm doing, even though it is not. Even though it's just something, it might not be the nicest thing to do, it might not be like the best thing to do, but it is by far not just, bad per se. So yeah, this is also just something to think about. At a college dorm, he put 10 cans of Coke in shared fridges, and they all disappeared. He put 10 $1 bills on a plate in the fridge, and they all stayed. Because nobody is gonna do that. Nobody's gonna take a $1 bill. Which, by the way, is something pretty interesting, that even though I think that the Coke cans are more than $1, isn't it the case? Especially, at least it is the case in Austria. Like, I don't know what, or is it more expensive? I don't know. Or it might be just slightly beneath an euro or something. But I really don't know. I actually don't know. Like, the last time, I don't even know the last time that I've drinking cola or Coke or just whatever cola there is. Like, I don't know. And I actually feel really good about that, because, like, I don't give a shit. I don't need any sweets. The sweet thing that I'm giving myself is some dried fruits and some fruits, and they're fucking tasty. I love them. But of course, I just tend to be like, well, let's just not eat too much of them. I could eat 10 boxes of, dried plums and whatnot, but a little bit of just not being satisfied maybe, or gratification, which you're not having then, is also, I think, a good thing. Just maybe being a little bit disciplined stuff, and that you can then also enjoy, like, those little things that you can give to yourself, and that you can just also gift to yourself. Test given with 10 hard questions, paid $1 for each correct answer. Group 1 had no way to cheat, got 3.5 questions correct. Group 2 told to tear up their sheet afterwards and just tell someone how many they got correct. 6.2 correct. Group 3, same as group 2, but told someone how many they got correct just to get tokens, which then someone else were turned to dollars. So it is not a direct thing, as I'm understanding it. And they got 9.4 correct. Pretty crazy. So given a chance, people cheat, which is kind of nuts. I really like those studies. These are really just interesting things about human beings, that we actually tend to do that. And I don't know, like, I believe that we all want to be remembered as a good person. We all want to be remembered as a just not cheater and as whatever, but we're still doing that. And we're still just maybe also, I don't want to say focus on that. I think that might be a little bit overdone there. But yeah, I know it's just interesting. I know but it is just so human, to be honest. The next section is beer and free lunches. When people order out loud in a restaurant, they choose differently than when they order privately. People often feel they have to order something different than companions. In Hong Kong, people felt they had to order the same thing as their companions, which is, I think, just culturally related, isn't it? People who ordered out loud were also not as happy with their selection afterwards. Like, I don't know. I think it also has something to do with just taking your time. Like, I don't know if just the waiter is just standing next to you waiting till you've got it and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not good. It's fucked up. It's just really not cool. But if you're just at home and you're kind of buying something off of a delivery service or just using delivery services, you can just take just all the time you have. And you can just really see, okay, this is what I want to eat. And I mean, I think it might especially be something important for people that really do care about what they eat, because I mean, first of all, like, just it would kind of be a nice thing, and it is not the case, and it has never actually been the case where I've eaten out, that you get a list of what the ingredients are and what they're using, what they're just using for just the cooking part and whatnot, so that you really know what they're doing with your fucking food, but you're just rarely getting it. I don't actually know why. And I just also think that there's no law that just makes you do that, and it's just a lot of fucking work, so why would you? But yeah, but it would be kind of fancy. It would be kind of nice, because I do really, 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 really look at the food that I'm eating, and it might also be in a bad way, by the way. I might also just be overdoing it. But yeah, maybe, and I think this is one of the reasons why restaurants that are just doing it with some cards, that you're having a card and you write down what you want, or you just pick certain things. There is a place where I go to school and they sell burritos, I think there. And you're not like, okay, I want to have this and this and this and that and whatnot, but you just have a card and you just pick the few things that you want to have in your burrito, and then you get it. Which is a pretty fancy and cool thing, because first of all, it is just way easier for them. There is no way that there is some misunderstandings. There's no way. It's 100% clear what somebody wants, unless they just took a wrong one and stuff, but then it's just their fault. Of course, like, there's just other ways how you could mess up the whole process there, but you know what I mean. Like, it's a little bit safer there, I would argue. On the other hand, it is also, like, just better for you. Like, you just, I don't know. And also you can just choose a name, which is a cool thing. You can choose a name, which is especially something that, for creative people, they like to be and get creative about names and stuff. But yeah. Knowing this, it's best to plan your order before the waiter arrives and stick with it. Alternative is to get people to order anonymously. But it is like some dumb shit, isn't it? Standard economics believes all human decisions are rational and informed, motivated by an accurate concept of the worth of all goods and services and the amount of happiness all decisions are likely to produce. Under this assumption, everyone in the marketplace is trying to maximize profit and striving to optimize his experiences. Economic theory says there are no free lunches. If there were any, someone would have already found them and extracted all their value. Behavioral economics believes that people are susceptible to irrelevant influences from their immediate environment, which is the context effects. Irrelevant emotions, short-sightedness, and other forms of irrationality as shown in this book. The good news is that these mistakes also provide opportunities for improvement. If we all make systematic mistakes in our decision, then why not develop new strategies, tools, and methods to help us make decisions or better decisions and improve our overall well-being? ? That's exactly the meaning of free lunches from the perspective of behavioral economics. Although irrationality is commonplace, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are helpless. Once we understand when and where we make enormous or erroneous decisions, we can try to be more vigilant, whatever, force ourselves to think differently about these decisions, or use technology to overcome our inherent shortcomings. This is also where business and policymakers could revise their thinking and consider how to design their policies and products so as to provide free lunches. And yes, I would just definitely also say so. Like, of course, I could be like, it is so bad that I'm only making fucking irrational decisions, which is probably the case. But I could also be like, well, it is what it is. I know, of course, I'm gonna make irrational decisions. Of course, I'm gonna make bad decisions, but who the fuck cares? You know, it is just what it is, and I should be able to deal with it or find a way to minimize the amount of irrational things that I'm doing. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if just the act of trying to be rational, if this is not only or also irrational. So it is a strange thing, and it is a fucked up thing. But we finished the book, and it's been really cool. And I think the next episode is going to be again another book. I just have to look for something. I just have to find something great. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the episode there. Can I? Oh God. Well, the question of the day is, can you do something? Can you make something? Can you build something? Can you say something to somebody or to a group that really makes their life better, that really makes their life better also in the long run or for the long run, and not only just in this few seconds that you're actually saying that? This is what I want you to think about. This is what I want you to evaluate or reevaluate. But yeah. And with that being said, I wish you the best health, of happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to write yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy basically means just being a nice person and then being remembered as a nice person, which is just a pretty fancy and cool thing to do. 3 other questions that I have for you are, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, which is a enormously cool thing, an important thing. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. I really hope that you've also liked the book. I really hope that I've also been able to just share some thoughts and some things inside of the book or just by myself that you thought are important or interesting or valuable or whatever. I really hope so. I really hope that you've liked it. And I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So I'll see you soon. I hope. Maybe consider subscribing to the podcast and also to the YouTube channel. I would certainly appreciate that. But yeah, I'm going to see you the next time. So bye-bye. And I can't unfortunately use the end screen there, but yeah. Now I can. Bye-bye.